Hi Travel Bugs, Diane and Guillermo here. Finally getting a chance to visit Mexico City since we had a scheduled meeting at the Embassy of Portugal to apply for residency as we prepare to move to Lisbon, hopefully this August in 2021.
We take off from Guadalajara flying Volaris, a Mexican discount airline good for quick flights like this one, but known to have many delays and last-minute cancellation issues. Right as the pilot announces the close proximity to landing, and through a curtain of smog, we begin to notice just how big Mexico City is. Ciudad de Mexico is the largest metropolitan area in the Western Hemisphere and the biggest Spanish-speaking city on the planet. As of 2020, Mexico City is currently the 5th largest city in the world, behind Tokyo, Delhi, Shanghai, and Sao Paulo. CDMX is gigantuous, with a metropolitan population of over 20 million people spread over 1,700 neighborhoods.
We land at the Aeropuerto Internacional Benito Juárez, Latin America's busiest airport, located a few miles east of the city. We approach the nearest taxi kiosk, which we were told is the safest and least expensive way to get out of the airport. The pink and white, or white and gold, are official city taxis. These taxis are regulated by the government and safe to use. There are more than 140,000 cabs all over Mexico City, making it the largest taxi fleet in the world. We stayed at the Gran Fiesta Americana Hotel. Highly recommended in a central location and with cool views. There are many ways to move around the city besides taxis. One of them is their metro system, considered one of the busiest metro systems in the world and under fire about safety recently. More than 25% of the population use the subway every day. That's 7 million people. We prefer the low cost of Uber rides, but no matter what, traffic in CDMX is horrible. On average, residents of Mexico City's capital spend 2.5 hours stuck in traffic daily. There's simply too many cars in the already congested city. There's been many proposed measurements to restrict car use, but it only pushes people to use Ubers or taxis more, and some even buy a second car to use on days when the regular car is banned. Unless there are major investments in public transportation, Mexico City will never be able to address its urban mobility problems.
Thank God for dedicated bus lanes along the city. We definitely don't want any of that ugly traffic. We decided to start the day riding the Capital double-decker bus for a better feel of the city and to stop at some of the biggest landmarks. The fascinating thing about this eclectic city is the way modern art blends with its old world and folkloric ways. A mixture of 19th century French-style mansions, colonial palaces, and churches, among modern and contemporary high-rise structures. It reminded me a lot of Washington, D.C. The busy city vibe, monuments, imposing historic buildings, and clean, wide sidewalks thanks to the baranderos. A small army of men and women in fluorescent green uniforms. They appear in multiple areas around the city center, strategically sweeping and putting trash away. It's a profession passed on for generations.
The Aztec heart of Mexico City still beats in the city's historic center. Once called Tenochtitlan by the Aztecs, it was the capital city and the center of their society.
The Templo Mayor, a central religious point for the Aztecs and led by Montezuma II, was made up of two temples that sat side by side and was used for many human sacrifice rituals. The Templo Mayor was considered the center of the universe according to Aztec legend and mythology. Hernán Cortés, a Spanish conquistador, led the expedition that caused the fall of the Aztec Empire and the eventual destruction of the Templo Mayor in order to make room for the Metropolitan Cathedral next door.
Southwest of the ruins is where you find the magnificent Zócalo, the city's and Latin America's largest public square. At its northern edge stands the Metropolitan Cathedral, easily one of Mexico's most iconic landmarks. It was built over a period of nearly 250 years, using stone from the ancient Aztec ruins. It presents a mixture of Renaissance, Baroque, and Neoclassical architectural styles, predominant during the colonial period.
The National Palace sits on the east side of the Zócalo. The building operates as the seat of the federal executive branch of Mexico's government and holds some of the most stunning Diego Rivera murals inside its walls.
On the south edge are the city government offices and jewelry shop, along with extravagant hotels lining the plaza's west side. For a great view of the Zócalo and suggested by friends, we went around the corner to the Grand Hotel de Mexico. Old world elegance at its finest, with an immaculate stained glass ceiling, gilded elevators, and Art Nouveau decor, a wonderful tribute to the past. Their terraza is open to the public, where we order delicious seafood, refreshing margaritas, and a stunning view to remember.
We walk a few blocks west of the historic center to find the grandiose Palacio de Bellas Artes. This historic white marble building is home of Mexico's premier fine arts collection and regular host of operas and theater performances. Giant murals by the world-famous Mexican artists cover the walls, and it's one of our favorite buildings so far. The Palacio is primarily known for one thing: the building's impressive and beautiful facade. Mexico City is slowly sinking. Yes, you heard it right. Sinking at a rate of about 10 centimeters per year. This is because the city was built on a lake. Tenochtitlan sat on top of Lake Texcoco, and ever since, Aztecs, and now the city, pumps water from it. In fact, Mexico City has sunk so much that it's been surpassed by Yemen in the ranks of the highest cities in the world.
There are numerous historical and famous neighborhoods around the city, such as San Angel and Coyoacan, where you'll find cobblestone streets lined with beautiful, colorful buildings and quaint cafes. It really makes you feel like stepping back in time.
And in this neighborhood, we find the Frida Kahlo Museum and her former home. So let's go inside and take a look.
La Casa Azul is the home where Frida was born, lived, and died. A visit to her home offers a glimpse into her life and her art.
Mexico City has the largest number of museums in the Americas and the second largest number in the world after London. It has 186 officially recognized museums and over 200 that lack official recognition. There are more museums here than in Madrid, Paris, and New York.
Mexico City's swankiest neighborhood, Polanco, is famous for its designer shops and upscale restaurants. This is one of Mexico City's most diverse neighborhoods, with large Jewish and Lebanese communities. Colonial Roma has a bohemian vibe, worth taking a stroll along Álvaro Obregón, the neighborhood's main street, to enjoy the architecture. La Condesa is one of Mexico City's trendier areas, with lovely Art Deco homes, leafy parks, as well as hip shops, bars, and restaurants. We end this short trip visiting the massive Chapultepec Forest, a beautiful park often referred to as Mexico City's lung. Chapultepec Park is a shady green oasis covering nearly 1,700 acres and the home of museums, a zoo, the world's friendliest squirrels, and even a castle.
Bosque Chapultepec is the largest urban park in Latin America, and can you believe it's twice the size of New York's Central Park?
Yes, perched high in the Bosque de Chapultepec is the magnificent Castillo de Chapultepec. Think Versailles and its gardens, but in CDMX. The Castillo is an example of 18th century architecture. It served many functions, including a military academy, a presidential palace, and today's home to the country's Museum of National History, welcoming thousands of visitors annually, and is one of the most popular buildings in Mexico City. If you're into architecture, sweeping views, beautiful landscaping, and art, then you must go here. Plus, Parts of the 1996 movie Romeo and Juliet were filmed in this location, starring good old Leo DiCaprio and Claire Danes.
We can't finish without mentioning Mexico City's culinary presence. Chefs from around the globe are opening Michelin-worthy restaurants. The food choices are diverse and plentiful. From traditional cuisines, street foods, international dishes, and many trending vegan options. We were super impressed with the vegan restaurants that we tried as we continue transitioning to a plant-based diet. Would we live in Mexico City? We asked each other a few times as it's such a beautiful place with lots to do. Earthquakes are a concern for us, and we feel like we would have a better quality of life in a smaller city without the price tag of metropolis living. There is so much more to do. You can't explore all the goodness in a day or 3, so just know your first visit will surely have you putting CDMX on your come back to list over and over again. The combination of the grandiose public parks, chic boutique hotels, unbelievable history, hip neighborhoods, and an excellent shopping scene make this visit not only a visual experience, but a soothing blast from the past. Mexico City has evolved from an Aztec city on a lake into one of the largest, wealthiest, most populated, and most important cities on the planet. And it only took them 700 years. We truly enjoyed our time here. This city's beauty is captivating, and the combination of old and modern is almost natural. We fell in love with this city, and we think you'll love it too.
Thank you for watching our video. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss our next one. Adios.